is to talk about why I am no longer a vegan, a vegetarian, raw, all this other stuff. How I'm none of that, and I do no longer identify with that. Um, I don't know who know or haven't noticed, or I don't know who know. I don't come to YouTube, but for some reason, something told me to record this video because I felt so passionate about it. So, uh, I I've been traveling a lot, and it was 2 weeks in April. I was in the jungles of Costa Rica, which was an amazing experience, and it also was an amazing experience. For 6 weeks, I was in Africa. I spent 3 of those weeks in Johannesburg, and another 3 of those weeks in a city, well, around Durban, outside of Durban in South Africa. If you live over there, you're familiar with those areas. But I spent a lot of time in nature. I had a lot of time for reflection, especially when I went to Costa Rica, and I had like these vivid dreams. It was like a lot of stuff had been coming to me, and I understand it because I asked for it. I've been doing the work. I've been doing work, energy work. But so it gave birth to a lot of stuff, but it also killed a lot of stuff too. And I want to talk about like the human body in itself, and how when the ego is like dying off, the part of the ego that needs to die off, because everybody's always talking about materialism and stuff, and when we come to spirituality and to these spiritual places, we talk about letting go of materialism. And it's cool because I let go of so much stuff. I gave away so much shit. Like, I wasn't selling nothing. I just gave away. Like, everything in my house I just gave away. I didn't sell anything. I gave away so many clothes, so many shoes. And even when I was in Africa, I left kind of unplanned, and I left with like less than a week worth of clothes and one pair of shoes. And that was a lot for me because I come from a place where I had so much, like I grew up with so much different shoes and Jordans and clothes, and I was always identified as this person who know how to dress, and I got my own style, which was really cool, this is okay. I really like expressing myself through the clothes that I wear. But it's different when this stuff becomes you, where you start thinking this is you. And so materialism, it like build up, and you start thinking this is you. Nothing is wrong with materialism because everything in this world is material. But once you start confusing it and identifying it with you, that's when the problem comes in. That's when that's when you are, entertaining the illusion. So to say, because sometimes when you ask people who, like, you ask a person, tell me about yourself, and they start saying all this stuff that they accumulated in the material world. They start saying, oh, I'm a lawyer. They start telling you where they work. When you ask them, you ask them who they are, they start telling you where they work. Oh, I don't got no kids. Oh, I got a job, and I got a car and an apartment. So they start identifying themselves with these things. And even cars, people start identifying themselves with their car, but then they also start feeling like, I'm a better person than this person because I have a better car. I remember countless times I had arguments with people, and they like, why would I be jealous of you? I have my own car, like I have this. And it's like, jealousy, I don't know, that's besides the point. But you see how a lot of people identify within the material world so strongly, and the ego attaches and it latches onto it. So as I was getting rid of this attachment, me identifying with my things, me identifying with everything on the outside as to who I am, when you start meditating on who you are, you quickly find out who you are not, you know? So I'm not the cars, I'm not apartment, I'm not the clothes that I have, I'm not the shoes that I have, I'm not the amount of money that I make, and I'm definitely not the career that I decide to take on. You know, people be like, I'm a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. It's something that you maybe do, but you're not that. You know what I'm saying? So the materialism of that is obvious. It's obvious, but what we don't also see is that the body is material too. You are not the body. I am not the body. And I heard this, and theoretically, I knew what people were talking about when they say you're not the body. But it was still so much where I identify with this body as being me. This body is not me. You cannot be anything you accumulate. Anything you accumulate cannot be you. It could be yours, but it cannot be you. And I got this, I got that quote from Sadhguru. He's like this Indian guru, and he said, anything you accumulate cannot be you. It can only be yours. So yeah, those house cars and stuff, that's all accumulation, and that's all very obvious when you say you're not the material world. But the body, we become very, very attached to it. And I'm not the body because when I was born, well, when I was, you know, coming into this life, I started as nothing. The body was accumulated with inside the womb of my mom. Inside the womb of my mother, that was an accumulation. And I started so small, then I started accumulating more materials until I became into this material here, the body that I have now. So the body in itself is material. And when I first started getting into, you know, changing my diet and being more healthier, at some point, it was really hard for me to eat bloody animals, only if it was cooked, and only if my taste, only if it was cooked. Children will only eat meat if it is like, if it's manipulated their senses, if it don't look like meat. They're not gonna eat something that look like meat. That's why you see a lot of kids, they won't eat the fish if it look exactly like a fish, or they won't eat a, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah. But it gotta be not associate meat. To eat meat, it gotta be kind of not associated with how it looks, mostly for children. So when I used to cook meat, and when I first cooked, I know how to cook really young. You know, I was like 6, 7 years old. I knew how to fry chicken, you know, make macaroni and cheese, all this stuff I knew how to do, which was really cool to me. You know, I had a lot of friends when we got to high school, they just didn't know how to cook or make any type of food. And I was already doing that in elementary school. But anyway, when we used to cook chicken, I remember me and my sister being scared of the blood that came out the package. So we had to like do all this stuff, and then to finally, once we finally put it in and cook it, it was fine. It was no block. But the blood, when we cooked, it was like, oh my God. I remember the first time realizing that was blood. I'm like, ugh. But anyway, it was probably 2014, into 2014, coming into 2015. For some reason, it just started being a disconnect to me trying to eat meat. So I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna slowly get off meat. And at the same time, I had cut my hair, and I wanted it to grow. And I had watched all these YouTube videos about how, like, oh, you eating more healthier, your hair grow. So that's when I started getting into the food thing. I start, you know, trying all these different detoxes, and by then I stopped eating red meat completely. It was just like, I don't know, it was I don't know. And then at the time, and then I start slowly getting rid of not eating birds, so like the chickens and stuff like that. And I was eating, maybe I had some seafood, maybe some fish. I don't remember. But then one time I watched one of those documentaries, and I found out what a vegan was. And I think the first documentary I watched was Cowspiracy, and then I end up, for some reason, coming across, once you watch one, Netflix will pop up a whole bunch of, you know, documentaries that did the same thing. So I end up watching Cowspiracy, and then I end up watching Forks Over Knives. And that's when, you know, using the information that these people gather, I took that and I decided that I wanted to be I wanted to be a vegan. And everything became this polarity of what was good and what was bad food for me. And the body still had this addiction to like junk foods and stuff. So every time I would eat those, I would feel bad about myself. I would get really upset. Da 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 da. I don't know, the years passed by. Now it's 2018. I have my own place, so I don't have to worry about like other people's food. It was just like me influencing myself, me cooking and making all my foods, preparing all my foods. I did a raw food diet for a while. I did plenty of fasts. And it was mad times I did a fast, and I'd be like, I'm gonna do this fast for 21 days. And when I didn't do it, I would get really upset with myself. Like, I would get really upset with myself, and I would tell myself, I'm not spiritual enough. This is why this and this not happened to me. I'm not spiritual enough. I'm not doing this enough. Oh, I gotta be completely 100% raw foods and do this and do that. And it was like the voices in my head was attacking me every time I ate what was outside of what was healthy. And then the more and more I researched, the more and more I realized, like, a whole bunch of this shit ain't healthy. Even the shit that's vegan is completely unhealthy for you. Or even this, and more and more I research or I listen to my body. Because I don't only do research online, I also do research within myself. Like, if I want to see if something works, I do it on myself. And if it works, if it don't, then it doesn't. So this is also kind of research that I do. But just somewhere along those lines, I got very attached to this vegan diet. And even my hair, I got very attached to my hair. And I see these same attachments happen within this vegan community on the internet, which to me start looking very much like a cult, very much like a cult. And I start seeing and all these different names for vegetarians. Oh, I'm a pescatarian. I'm a this kind of tarian. I'm a raw fruitarian. I'm a this. I'm a that. It was like all this different stuff. And then when I was in Africa, I seen a video, and this guy was like, I'm not dating non-vegans, and it just becomes a part of a discrimination. It's become this polarity, which I can't explain, this good and bad polarity, just like God and the devil and all this different stuff, this duality, and that has to be transcended. So I came so connected to my hair. Like, if my hair was like this and like that, and it was like, oh, just start being this voice like telling me like, you're not spiritual enough because you ain't do this, you didn't fast for 21 days, you know, like this person fasted for 21 days, that's why you're not coming to grips with this. And it's like, your hair is this. My hair was so heavy. Like, after Costa Rica, I had this dream. And inside this dream, I was put into this circumstance where I would have to cut my hair or do something else. And because I was so attached to my hair, because I'm like, oh, my hair, I'm spiritual. I get information from the source. And you know, my hair is everything. And in the dream, and I was in this dream state, which was not, it didn't feel anything like a dream. Anything like a dream to me. My dreams begins to be so fucking real. Like... So I'm like, in a dream, I had to let go of my hair. I had to cut my hair or something worse was going to happen. And to me, when I woke up, I'm like, geez, my attachment to my hair is so strong. You know, I'm identifying with my hair. I'm not my hair. And this happened after Costa Rica. When I was in Costa Rica, and I was still I was refusing to cut my hair. And every morning I wake up, it'll just be this thought placed in my head, like, cut your hair. And whatever it was, the ego was telling me every time, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But it was this feeling deep down inside, like, it's, you know, that you got to get rid of that. Because not that the hair was damaged or bad or anything, it was just my attachment and my connection to it. And that is a very good example of my attachment and my connection to the vegan and vegetarian diet. And whenever I drew outside these lines, wherever I felt like I wasn't healthy enough, I will also question my spirituality and who I am as a person. Because I'm not, oh, now I'm so ugly. My face started breaking out. Oh, now I'm so ugly. Oh, now I'm so this. So within these dreams, whatever these states, it's just like these feelings of knowing that I just been getting. I can't explain it logically. Everything I do, I mean, people are upset about how I went about leaving and how I went about everything. But it was literally no logic in it. It was really no logical process. To me, maybe a little bit, but the most of it, it was just this feeling of knowing, you know? So this connection to this vegan, vegetarian diet, we start coming like, it's me. I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a this. I'm a that. And it's like, I'm not none of that. You know, I can't put on words who I am right now, but I know what I'm not. I know I'm not this body. So if I eat something that this body may not agree to, may have a reaction to, it's not me. Now I'm saying, oh, I'm not healthy. I am healthy. Actually, who I am. And I would be like, I need to heal myself. I need to heal myself. You get all these books and all these spiritual books telling you, you know, it's time to heal yourself, heal thyself, and do all this healing work that you need. You need this, you need that. But what it's saying is your body needs this. And this body is a tool. It's not me. It's material. So I could change this material into anything I want with my mind. And I know that once you get deeper into like this metaphysical and the cost of, you could change and rearrange all this shit with your mind. It is not necessarily the food. The food can help to change this body into a certain material, but it becomes a disconnect when you start saying, heal thyself. Who I am, the thing that I am, where it's coming, this feeling and knowing is coming from, it don't need to be healed. It is absolutely fine. This body could be transformed. Maybe who I am can, I don't know if this makes sense. Maybe who I am can, what I am can have more discipline over this body, or to, you know, have more discipline over this body, but I'm not this body. So if I eat something unhealthy, it's not happening to me. I'm experiencing, I'm witnessing it through this body, through this material. So I don't have this connection to this body anymore. I don't feel like, so in order to get this, because it wasn't, in order to get this, I had to come out and do it. So when I was in Africa, I had to come out and, I started eating, I had eggs, I had cheese, and my face started to break out so bad. Like, look at it. You still see it here. It started to break out so bad. I understand it's my face, it's not me. But when I used to see these bumps and pimples, I used to be like, ew, that's so nasty, it's dirty, I'm toxic. My whole body is toxic, I'm just toxic. You know, this thing that's saying I am toxic. I am not this body. You know what I'm saying? So you can see how that connection, people make that connection between, you know, this body and saying I'm toxic. You're not toxic. Who you are is not toxic. Who you are can witness the body going through the effects of toxins, or you can witness that, but you cannot be toxic. You cannot be vegan. Your body can be. You can take in certain foods, but you cannot say I am vegan, I am vegetarian, because that's not who I is. Well, you can say it all you want. in my journey, I realized I'm not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not none of this shit. And I don't see people going around, the vegan, vegetarian community have latched onto their stuff as if it is like better or something, or more spiritually attuned. And I'm only saying that because because it was a part of myself. And the only way I was to get rid of this connection was to start eating stuff that was way outside that thing. And look, at my face broke out. The face broke out. This face, so many it was so many. And I remember when I seen it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. I'm not going to take a picture. I'm not going to take a selfie, because I'm a selfie person. I'm like, I'm not going to take a selfie. I'm not going to do this because... And I was looking at myself like I was so ugly. My hair was cut off. The guy did me a bad eyebrow job. My face was all broken out. And here I am trying to detach from this identity as, you know, like I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian. And so I just had to sit there. I had to sit down, calm myself, calm my energies. And I'm like, I'm not this body. I'm not ugly. If you see a dent in your car, you're not going to say, oh my God, I'm so ugly. I'm so messed up. If your car messed up, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm so messed up. If your car in good condition, you're not going to be like, oh, I am in good condition. That's what it was. That's what was happening to me with my body. Like the same connection people be having to their cars and their material stuff, I had the same connection to my body and my material self. So for that on, I'm like, I got to detach from this. You know, I sat there in meditation for days. I spent a lot of these days by myself. And I'm like, I'm not this body. And I continuously looked in the mirror. And when I look in the mirror and I see these pimples and these bumps on my face, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And now I'm fat, and now I'm doing fastings and stuff, and now I'm using supplements to help this body, you know, to gear and focus my energy. I'm even working on breath work and stuff. So I could discipline this body how I want, but it's just when I come to terms that, oh, I'm the body. It's not. So I start down. In a way to disconnect, I had to do the things that these diets are saying the opposite of. The way to disconnect from this material thing, I had to do the opposite of what it was. So when I did come home and I came to my mom's house and she cooked some ziti or something, and I'm just like, you know, go try this and eat it to see if you really have this disconnect from your body. And while I was eating it, I didn't feel like, oh, I'm such a bad person. It was not coming to me. It was not resonating with that was me. I still don't have the desire to like eat a whole bunch of, to eat meat and stuff like that. But it was like necessary for me to detach from that and say, I'm not the vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. I'm not this body. I am just that. I am that the fuck that I am. I am not a free former. I'm not in a lock journey. I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious. I'm just fucking am. I could tell you, I can't describe you what I am and who I am. I could feel who I am. I could feel it. It's a feeling. But I could definitely tell you what I'm not. And I could tell you right now that I'm not a vegan, and I'm not a vegetarian, and I'm not a raw fruitarian, and I just am. So that's my video, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you come to terms with anything you have detached with, and the ego has attached itself to, because even these diets, even though they can be pure for your body, your attachment to it and your attachment to the material world. If you're just trying to do it to be a better type of human, okay, fine. Disregard this video. But if you're really and you're truly on a spiritual path, how they are calling it, do not become so connected to these ideas and these philosophies in your bodies and stuff that it becomes a cloud. It becomes something else that is another illusion. It disillusions you from who you truly are, because this is truly the dream state, and it's fun, and I don't feel like any idea of philosophy that I pick up should separate me from who I am, because who I am, that other person, who I am, whoever watching this video, you're that same person, you're that same phenomenon. So I discriminate from you because how you choose to build up your material. If you choose to build up your material with meat, that's fine. If you choose to build up your material, your body, with vegetables and fruits, or just fruits, or you choose to be a breatharian and you channeled your chi, that's fine. But the moment I discriminate on you for that, it's like I'm saying that's you, and you not your material body. I'm not this material body. So I had to disconnect from that, and that's it.